Okay, here we're going to finish up our review of Python with using the open function, or the open instead of input. So we're going to open a file and read the file. The form of the open command is simply open the name of the file, then the mode. We're concerned with three modes here: R for reading the file, W for writing over, replacing the contents of the file, and A for appending to the file. R is the default mode. If we don't put a mode in, we're going to put a mode in, so we'll be fine. First part is to create a new file. And then we're going to save it as file, there we go, file-access .py, and hit enter. Now we can go ahead, they give you the code to go through this because this is just a review. So go through, I'll copy and paste the code right from your lab, and you can do that as well when you do the lab. Okay, so we're gonna open. Notice we're using open instead of input, as I said. And then we're gonna take as input our devices.txt file. So everything that's in there, we're gonna read that file, or that's the mode we're gonna use. Created a variable item, and we're gonna print each item, which is just all this says is we're gonna print each thing in the list. We're just gonna go ahead and print each of the things to the list to the screen. So we'll go ahead and save it. I don't know why I don't use shortcuts. I'm bad about that all the time. So we can go ahead and run it. Whoops, run. And we can see, let's make this bigger, that it basically, the devices.txt is just a list of Cisco devices. Wait, I think your lab has you do right in the terminal directly instead of the run without debugging, or instead of our little GUI whatever up here, our menu. There we go. So we can do that as well. So if we want to run it right from our terminal there, call Python 3 and then our file. And again, it just lists all the devices in the devices.txt file. The next step is, you'll notice that there's a space between each of the devices that are listed. We're going to go ahead and remove that. And we remove that by using the strip method. We're going to add strip right before print. So type item equals item dot strip and our two parentheses. So now we just add this line into our code to go ahead and remove this extra space between there. And we hit the up arrow to get back our command from before and hit enter, and then you'll see that we have stripped or removed the space between each of the device listings. So the next part is to copy the content of the file into a list. So we're going to create a new empty list, use the append parameter to copy the file contents into our new list that we created, and then go ahead and print our list. Okay, so we need to modify our code up here to add our new list. So we're going to add our list called devices. And then we want to take the items from devices, or I'm sorry, from our devices.txt file. So we're going to leave this alone. We add our creation of our list. We forgot equals though. There we go. Devices equals. I don't know why it was the same color. We're going to leave this. We're going to use our devices.txt file. We're going to take from our devices.txt file, and we're not going to print. Instead of printing, we're going to append them or put them into our devices, our new devices list that we created. So devices.append and the item, or our variable. And then afterwards, we want to actually see that we took the contents of devices.txt and put them into our new devices list. So we'll print out our devices list to verify. And that's it. So previously we just read out the file and the file just printed what it had. We took the extra space out of there. Now we're going to create a whole new list, and we're going to take the items from the devices.txt file and put them in our new devices list, and we'll print them out. what that allows us to do is take the items that are in our list or in our file or in our database. So in this case, it's just a file, but whatever you're pulling from, we can manipulate and do things with that list without affecting the original file or the original database type of thing. I think we got this in right. We added devices, get rid of print. Instead of print here, we're going to append, take those items and append them into our devices list, and then we're going to print it. So that should work. Let's go ahead and save it and run it. And sure enough, we went through and it took all of, and we have our verification that it took it all because this is our print command here. This here is printing our devices list. So I hope that made sense. Luckily, you still have the lab to do yourself, or you still can do the lab yourself. Just hopefully that was helpful some. Now the last part we have to do here is the challenge part. It says to create a script to allow the user to add devices. So now we have our list, but we want to be able to add devices. I'm going to create a new file and save it as file access input. I just want to read through it real quick. For the open function, we're going to use the append mode, which will allow us to append the item to the devices.txt file. So that makes sense, right? Because we want to take user input and add it to our file. So inside our while loop, we're going to have the input function that asks the user for the new device. It says set the value of the user's input to a variable named new item. Okay, kind of gives us all the parameters. Use an if statement that breaks the loop if the user types exit and prints, and then after the user types exit and breaks the loop, it will print all done. Use the command file.write new item /n to add the new user provided device, and then close the file to release it from memory. So it kind of gives us all the steps. Let's first start with creating our new file. In file-access.input or -input, sorry, file access-input, not py. So the first thing we want is our open function. So file equals open. What are we opening again? We're opening our devices.txt. So devices.txt files we're going to use. This time the mode is going to be append. So we're going to use, so A for append, not two A's. There we go. Come on. And then, oh, whoop. We got devices, file equals open devices.txt. Wow. I see what I did. There we go. Let's try this again. Oh my. I love that it's color coded too, because it almost helps you see, okay, you know you messed something up, right? What is it? So there we go. Now that should be right. So we used our open function, and then it says use a while true loop, so we'll use a while loop. And we'll put the input function that asks for the user's new device, and we'll call the new device or the input new item. So while true, colon, our new item, and our input function, input or input command, whatever you like, enter device name. If we want to set it up so if they type exit, then our loop ends, right? So if new item equals exit, if new item equals exit, colon, then we're going to print all done. And we're going to end it. So we got to put a break in there. And then remember it told us to use the command, the file.write command. So that's what we're going to do here. File.write new item plus, there we go. Did I get that all in there right? So our file.write new item plus /n, that looks pretty good. And then we got to close it to release it from memory. So file.close. And assuming I don't have any typos, I should be able to save this and run it. Now, me saying assuming I don't have any typos is kind of funny. Hey, so far so good. We got the enter name. Oh, Cisco 1941. Cisco, I'm just ASA. And then exit, we end it. Now if we go back, and we'll just simply open the file, we should, the devices.txt file has our new should have our new devices in it, and it does. So cool. We did all of it. We went through the whole review, all the way through the challenge, and just remember, they gave us all the parameters, which was nice, right? Create the file. We're going to use the open function with the mode A for append. We've been using the same file the whole time. We'll create our while loop, asking for someone to input from the keyboard the new device. We'll keep running our loop until they type exit, which would have been better to type enter new device name or enter device name or exit when done. That would have been better. If done. Well, I don't know. Anyway, not vital to the functioning of it. But anyway, when they hit exit, then it prints all done. It stops running the program. And then we went and we verified that, in fact, it did add our new items. So that's it. We've finished all the Python review.